Welcome, guys. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about types of the requirements for a rail, what are the different railway gauges, choice of a gauge, and changes in the gauge, and also the types to reduce the wear and their losses. In this today lecture, we are going to discuss about what are the types of rail failures, coning of wheels, and also the creep of a rail. What are the different rail failures? We have the crushed head, transverse fissure, split head, and horizontal fissure, square of angular breaks. What is the crushed head? Here, the head gets crushed due to the heavy loads applied by the locomotive on a railway track. The metal flows on the head of rail and defects in manufacturing and the flat spots on wheels, slipping off wheels, weak support at the rail end, etc. And the skidding causes flat spots, loose fish bowls cause weak supports at ends. These crushed heads are the main failures due to the heavy locomotive loads and defects in manufacturing and also skidding of the wheels on the flat spots and loose fish bowls while joining off one end of the rail to the other end of the rail. The joint used for those frictions is known as fish bolt, and these fish bolts are loosely fixed and these causes weak supports at the ends. What is transverse fissure? Fissure or hole in the head. Fissures or hole in the head. It is in the form of a cross wire crack, starts inside head and spreads gradually. And the poor manufacturing is also a main features of failures in transfers, fissures, and excessive straining. It is very dangerous, and while rail breaks without any sign often causes these transverse fissures. And this is the crushed head. You can observe in this part the rail head has been slightly demolished, slightly uh, polished like smooth surface structure. You can observe here, this is the crushed head part, and these crushing can be caused by the heavy loads of the locomotive traveling on these crushed heads. And next, what is a split head? Head is split into two parts, and if the surface of the crack appears smooth and dark, it is called as piped rail. These split heads are formed due to cavities during the manufacturing or shrinkage of metal. Main conditions for the split heads to appear is to the during the manufacturing, if any cavities are present, if any cavities are possibly present in this head while manufacturing, these and these causes measure split head and the horizontal fissures. A fissure developed keeps on increasing. Outcome of worn fish plates are insufficient ballast, square or angular brakes. The rail breaks either in vertical plane or angular plane. These are the horizontal crack in the head and crack in the head web junction, head and in the web junction. This is the crack in the web junction. You can observe the crack here itself. This is the horizontal and transverse fissures, and this is the flowing metals in head. This is also a transverse failure. If any cavities are provided in these metal while manufacturing, these causes the transverse failures and also split heads. Different types of track fittings and fastenings we have. First one, fish plates, spikes, chains, bolts and keys. The keys are helpful only in the bull-headed and double-headed rails to maintain the track in their position while using of a cast iron chairs. These fish plates are used mainly in the joining of one rail to the another rail. The spikes and bolts are helpful in flat-footed rails, fixing of foot as base in the sleepers. What is hogged rail? Kings in the rail. These are also different failures in the rails. Hogged rails. Due to battering action of wheels over the end of the rail, the rails get bent down and deflected at the ends. These rails are called hogged rails. While continuous applying of a load of the locomotive at the ends of the rail that batters and it produces creep, nothing but creep. The longitudinal movement of a locomotive on of an object or an object continuously produces creep. Here, these are the hogged rails, these end rails. If the end of the rail from one end to the one end of the rail while joining of other end of the rail, while if like these ends in the end sections the locomotive load has been applied and these ends are bent down and get deflected, and by that deflection you can observe these hogged rails. Next, kinks in the rails. When the ends of adjoining rails move slightly out of position, shoulders or kinks are formed. If the ends in the hog rails, we have seen that if the ends of the rails are bent downwards and get deflected, by that deflection, if those ends are slightly move out of their position, then these kinks or shoulders are formed. Buckling of rails. Buckling means track has gone out of its original position or alignment due to prevention of expansion on account of hot temperatures. We have known that while joining of two ends of a rail, the space of minimum of 5 mm to 2 mm to 5 mm gap has been provided between those two ends of the rail sections while joining. For moving for the hot temperatures in a hot conditions, the expansion of these joints can be developed so that these gaps of 2 to 5 mm 2 to 5 mm has been provided at the joining of rails. So if the gaps has not been provided while joining of the rails by the summer conditions, by the hotty conditions, eh, without any gaps in the joinings or ends of the rails, these these rails can buckle themselves from out of their original position. You can observe here, this is the original position of the track and this is the out of original position where the buckling of rails has been seen. If the gaps has been provided perfectly, then these bucklings can be reduced. These bucklings can be reduced. If If the spacing have nothing to do with the buckling of the rails, that is the false statement. If the spacing between the two ends of the rails has been provided perfectly and planned and executed on the tracks, these buckling of rails can't be existed. Next, what are the coning of wheels? Here, the flanges of wheels are never made flat. They are present in the shape of cone with a slope of 1 in 20. We provide slope 1 in 20 for the sleepers, so the rails we are kept on the sleepers can be inclined in the position of with the slope of 1 in 20. So the wheels are also in the shape of cone with a slope of 1 in 20. So the contact area between the wheel and the rails will be more with those slopes we provide. When wheel are moving on track, there is a chance of lateral movement. Without coning, it will cause a sudden impact on the sides of rails. Coning of wheels is mainly done to maintain the vehicle in the center position with respect to the track. Here you can observe this. This is the track and this is the wheel which is in cone shape. So these cone shape will are provided uh, to maintain the vehicle in center position with respect to the track. With respect to the track, so the contact area between the track and the wheel is also be increased. The check rails are provided with a gap of 5 to 10 with the spacing of main track. So if any derailing of the wheel has been uh, has not been occurred while providing of check rails, if these wheel cannot exceed the limit to the check rail. The check rail helps to maintain the position of wheel in on the particular track. So here, here is the sleeper with 1 in 20 slope, and this is the cone of the, this is the wheel and this is the axle. The coning of wheel threads here you can observe, and these are the flanges. The flanges are in inward directions to maintain the center of gravity of the vehicle. So when wheel centrally placed on the rail, the contact area is also increased. The contact area between the wheels and the track is also be increased. Coning of wheels. If the slope is not provided on the sleeper, which is in 1 in 20 ratio, if then the tracks will be formed without any slopes. These wheels can't maintain their center of gravity and they may derailed or collapse of these tracks can be occurred. This is the inner rail and this is the outer rail. This is the inner wheel and this is outer wheel. Behavior of coned wheels on the curves. The curvature, on a curvature, the inner wheel moves ends to the inner rail, and for the outer rail it moves towards it. The flanges will be near. With these actions, the crested head can be seen on the curves. So the wear and tear losses for the tracks are also be observed in this image. What are the main disadvantages of coning of wheels? The smooth riding is possible, but the pressure on the inner edge may cause its wearing. The pressure on the inner edge may cause its wearing. The gauge widening happens sometimes if base plates are not provided Sleepers under outer rails may damage. If the base plates are not provided, the sleepers under the sleepers under the outer rails may fail, may damage or failed. To minimize these effects, tilting of rails is done by the use of inclined base plates. Proper gauge length, wear is uniform on head, and increased life of sleepers. Increased life of sleepers. If the gauge widening happens sometimes, if base plates are not provided, sleepers under here, if the base plates are not provided for the sleepers under outer rail on the curved paths, those get the sleepers can damaged can be damaged. What is creep of rail? What is creep of rail? The longitudinal movement of rails in a track is termed as creep. It is common to all railway tracks. The value of creep may varies from 0 to 130 mm per month. 0 to 130 mm per month. The creep causes the major causes for the creep are while applying brakes due to the forces while starting or stopping of a locomotive, while starting rails pushed backward, and while stopping these rails are pushed backwards, sorry, forward. If while starting from a platform, the locomotive has to haul more energy. For hauling, it needs more energy in the normal conditions. So, while starting off of these locomotive, the rails are pushed backwards. The creep will be generated. The creep is formed due to starting or stopping, and also while applying of breakages. So, while starting and stopping, the rails are pushed backward, and are by stopping, the rails are pushed forward by wave motion of wheels. Due to wheel loads, rail deflect as continuous beam. Crusts at supporters. Due to the wave motion of wheels, due to constant applying of load of the locomotive on a rail track, the deformations can be observed. So while the locomotive is moving with particular load on the wheels would transfer these loads to the track, and why and the similar deflections can be observed throughout the track. These deflects as continuous beam, and crusts are formed at supports, that is nothing but sleepers. If the changes in temperature can also cause the creep. The unequal expansion and contractions may cause the creep. If it happens more during hot weather, if it happens more during the hot weather. So changes in the temperature and wave motion of the wheels, and also starting and stopping up of those locomotive can cause the more creep, can cause the more creep. And here we have images for the creep of rail. The direction of motion, if the wheels are moved in this direction, the creep can be formed. The track will be deformed and pushed backwards. These rails are pushed backwards. And if the direction of the motion of the wheel is in these directions, the rail should be pushed backwards. So, creep during starting and creep during stopping. If it is stopped, the creep is in the direction of this. In the motion, the creep is in this direction, creep will be formed in this direction. While applying of breakage, creeps will be formed in this direction. And the direction of motion, if the wheel, the continuous load that is applied on the track can deflects the track in these crust like structures, that is of sleepers, where the sleepers, the base plates are fixed to the sleepers and the top rails are freely move in the direction of motion. So if the wheel load is constantly applying in this part and moving forward, the crusts can be formed where the sleepers are presented, because the base of the rail has been fixed to the sleeper, so it may not vary, but the upper head of the rail can be deformed, and continuously applying these may carry forward to the next sleeper and to the end of the track. What are the major effects caused by the creep? uh, Rails, if minor causes that is caused for creep are if rails are not tightly fixed, if the rail joints are not tightly fixed, and the bad quality of sleepers, and also by the drainage system we provided is not as good as the permanent way, so the creep may be developed there. And also no proper consolidation of bed of the track, if the bed of the track is not as good as that, so the creep may develop there. And the gauge maintained tightly, the gauge length, if the proper joint gaps should not be provided, the buckling of the rail can be observed on the hot conditions. If the summer expansion and winter contractions, these gaps plays a major and a vital role for maintaining the position of track. So the rails not tightly fixed, and the bad quality of sleepers we provided, and also a bad drainage systems designed, the design of the drainage is not so good, then the creep may develop. Now proper consolidation of the bed of the track and the gauge maintained tightly, improper super elevations at the curves, if the on the curved path, if the super elevations can't be maintained, so uh, the head of the rails can be deformed due to the heavy load applied by the locomotive on the, and also the breakage, slight breaking of wheels can be observed. The inner rail can't cover as much as distance when compared to the outer rail on the curved path, so the creeps may develop if the super elevations at the curves can't be provided properly. Over capacity of traffic on rails, if we design a rail track for the minimum of 10 trains, 10 locomotives on a day, and it has been, the volume of the traffic has been increased to another 5 numbers, so overall per day it is as of 15 numbers. So if the capacity can't be over the designed volume of traffic on the rails, if we designed for 10 number of 10 number of locomotives to move on a track on a particular day, and continuously those are 5 numbers extra traveling on this particular track, so overcapacity can also be a major problem for the development of creep. The bad joints due to poor maintenance, if the joints can't be maintained properly, so at the ends of the joints you may observe the end of a rail deflected. In this failure we have seen that hogged rails, if the rails can't be maintained, can't be checked properly, the deflection at the ends may cause the rails look like these. So the maintenance of the rails can be maintained properly. and also allowance of rail expansion joints. If these expansion joints can't be provided uh, and checked and maintained properly, then the tracks can't be resistance as designed. So the creep may develop and the failure can occur on possibly any day of the any section of the track. So decaying of sleepers. If the sleepers we provide are the wooden sleepers, they are the natural decayers. So the decaying of the sleepers are also a major problem for the creep. So we have to put maintain that decaying of sleepers can't be done. If any decaying of the sleepers can be observed, those sleepers can be replaced. Those sleepers can be restructured to maintain the uh, good quality of track. If not possible, then the creep may cause uneven spacing of sleepers. At the ends, we have to on a track, on a formation of a track on a railway track. So the sleepers must have maintains particular distance between the each sleeper. If the distance between the sleepers may be varied, so uneven spacing can be observed on the observed beneath the track, so that sleepers can not bear those amount of loads produced by the locomotives on the track. So the ruptures may occur on the sleepers, and ultimately it leads to the failure of those track and deformations if any creep is possible. So to maintain perfect spacing between the sleepers on a straight paths or path sections, so the creep also can be reduced. Defective packing, insufficient ballast, and also insufficient ballast. If the sufficient ballast is produced provided for the railway track, for the track of this, so the ballast is perfectly maintained, sufficient ballast is maintained, there will be no problem and any advantage for the formation of creep. If insufficient ballast is formed, the sleepers uh, move away from this original position, and from that the track, the rails are affected. So when constant load of the locomotive is traveling on those rails, if the sleepers are deformed from the original position to the outward positions, the creep may be developed, or the failures, the kings are observed, the hogging of rails or kings can be formed in the rails. These kings can further develop into the creep without maintaining perfectly. If a maintenance can be observed, can be surveyed, can be uh, properly looked after these tracks, these rails, these all creep failures or the rail failures, the wear of the rails can be reduced by perfectly under surveillance, and also perfect maintenance can be done. If improper usage of brakes, and last one, improper usage of brakes, continuous applying of brakes on the rails can also deform the rail. uh, we have seen that wave motion of uh, train by applying sudden braking, sudden lots of breakage in the traveling parts of the locomotive, while improper usage of brakes can also lead to cause of creep. So these are the major causes and minor causes, some are the minor causes for the producing of creep on the track. So avoid these creep conditions, these creep failures, proper maintenance of drainage, good quality of sleepers have been observed, and rail joints can be tightly fixed and do not maintain the over capacity of traffic on rails, and maintenance of these rails can be regularly done, and also gauge lengths can be properly maintained. If The super elevations produced on the curves should be properly designed to eradicate these type of failures we are facing. So the creep may not be succeed in these perfect conditions on a design of rail track. The factors that determining the magnitude of creep: the alignment of track greater than the alignment of track greater on the curves, the gradient of track more or down gradient, the direction of motion of trains one way or two way or number of lanes, the loads of trains in the movement of direction of trains, and also the embankments. Creep is more on newly constructed embankments. If embankments are observed in the constructional uh, of the rail, those embankments needs the locomotive to haul more when compared to the when compared to the flat surfaces. If embankments regularly occurs on a track, the creep can be developed irrespective of those loads applied. So the direction of motion of the trains, if the direction is on one way directions, we can observe creep of the rails to be pushed backwards. So the starting of the locomotive is on one way direction, while applying the breakage, the creep can be, the rails are pushed backwards. So in a two-way conditions, in a two-way motion of trains, the creep is much less when compared to that of one-way lanes. The loads of trains on number of lanes can be, number of sleepers can be arranged properly to eradicate this type of conditions. If the gradient of the track is uh, maintained properly as a leveled surfaces, as much as we know, as far as we know that the track should be formed in a leveled and straight paths. If any gradients are developed, if any gradients need to be provided, uh, for particular distance only we have to provide, not regularly or continuously we are providing these gradients downward, or the slope is to be heavy, so the creep also be developed there. If, as far as we perfectly planned for leveled surfaces, uh, we cannot encourage these gradients on these flatty surfaces, so the creep may cause. If the alignment of track is greater on the curves, the alignment of the track can be observed if the observed greater on the curves. And also weight and the type of rail. Lightweight rails creep is more than the heavy weight rails. So results of creep, while continuous creep conditions can be developed, the major results we face are sleepers move out of their original position and the gauge length can be disturbed. The gap variation at the joints on the other parts results in uneven stresses, and points and crossings will be disturbed. If the gauge length has been disturbed, the points and crossing must be disturbed, while the creep conditions are growing and developed in a railway track. The gauge lengths, the problems we face and the results of these creep conditions are majorly are the gauge length has been disturbed, and points and crossings will be automatically disturbed if the gauge length is changed, and difficult to refix rail with this creep, so interlocking mechanism also gets disturbed, while changing of lane can also be disturbed if the creep has been developed. So as far as we consider, the creep must not be developed in a railway track. Measurement of creep. if if they are measured using creep indicators on the side of the bottom flange of rail on either sides, a mark is made by chisel. Two posts of rail are driven in the formation and the tops are in level with top of sleepers. String fastened to the post and passed through markings towards rail. Distance between the string and the marks on the bottom of rail will indicate creep during course of trip. So methods for correcting creep: the pulling back of rails method, and in this method, the rails are pulled back equal to the amount of creep that is generated in these rails. These are manually, and also they are pulled back by using a couple of jocks. So sleeper fittings are made loose. Fish blades are removed at one end while the other end are made loose. At other end, a liner is placed and the rail is pushed or pulled as required in the direction of creep developed, in the opposite direction of creep developed. The following points must be noted. The track should be packed properly after pushing or pulling. The facility should be there to avoid restrictions to existing traffic. If the labor should be procured, if the labor should be procured, the existing traffic should be restricted if the labor are procured. All the fish plates, bolts should be cleaned, oiled, and refixed. Good to adjust creep before summer. If any creep conditions has been observed on a railway track, these creep conditions, these rails can be put in the original positions, and these creep can be adjusted before the summer. If we can't adjust these rails in positions before summer, the deformation of rails can be observed. Expansions of these rails are also be observed, and by applying the locomotive load on these summer conditions, the joints, the gaps between the two ends of the rails can also be closed. The bolts of fish poles, the bolts of the joints can't be removed as easy as so. The major method for correcting creep is pulling back of rails. These pulling back of rails can be done manually or using any jocks. These sleepers fitting are made loose. The fittings of the sleepers are made loose while pulling back to the original positions of those rails, and bowls which are fitted at the ends of the tracks can be removed at one end, and other while at the other end are made loose to correct those uh, creep conditions. uh, we should properly use these pulling back methods on or to adjust creep on or before summer. Usage of creep anchors. Usage of creep anchors: in the first method we have seen that pulling back of creep. In this second method we use creep anchors. Pulling back method is tedious and costly, and also 75% decreased using creep anchors. Creep anchor is a cast iron piece which is made to grip the rail. The arrangement of anchors prevent the movement of rails there by creep, because the sleepers which are embedded in the ballast should move for movement to take place. Different types of anchors are available. Creep anchors should be strong enough to resist stresses. Number of anchors are determined by the intensity of creep. 4 anchors per rail are provided for a creep of 7.5 to 15 centimeters. Creep anchors should be placed at points where the creep originates should be avoided on rail bridges. Use of steel sleepers on track minimizes creep. Sleepers are provided with fittings which do not easily allow the creep to occur. They will also have a good grip with ballast to resist their movement in ballast. Increase in a number of sleepers will also help in prevention of creep. Prevention of creep. Today's lecture we have for discussed about type of rail failures and their reasons, and coning of wheels, and creep and creep failures, types of creep failures, and the methods for correcting creep. So thank you, meet you in the next class.